Kahala Yahweh Shem Hawashai Ba'ashem Hakadash. Babylonians to the apostles of great wisdom. Peace and salutations to all the Christians, those Christian of this gospel in truth and sincerity. And so this is the introduction to Sirach, otherwise known as the book of Ecclesiasticus. This Yahushai was the son of Sirach, and grandchild to Yahushai of the same name. This man therefore lived in the latter times, after the people had been led away captive, called home again, and almost after all the prophets. Now his grandfather, Yahushai, as he himself witnesseth, was a man of great diligence and wisdom among the Hebrews. He did not only gather the grave and short sentences of wise men that had been before him, but himself also uttered some of his own, full of much understanding and wisdom. When as therefore the first Yahushai died, even this book almost perfected, Sirach his son, receiving it after him, left it to his own son Yahushai, who, having gotten it into his hands, compiled it orderly into one volume, and called it Wisdom, entitling it both by his own name, his father's name, and his grandfather's, alluring the hearer by the very name of wisdom to have a greater love to the study of the book. It containeth therefore wise sayings, dark sentences, and parables, and certain particular ancient godly stories of men that pleased God. Also his prayer and song, moreover, what benefits God had vouchsafed his people, and what plague he had heaped upon their enemies. This Yahushai did imitate Solomon, and was no less famous for wisdom and learning, both being indeed a man of great learning, and so reputed also. Whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by the others that have followed their steps, for the which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof unto must needs become skillful himself. So also they that desire to learn to be able to profit them which are without, both by speaking and writing. My grandfather Yahushai, much given himself to the reading of the law and the prophets and the fathers, and had gotten therein good judgment, was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things might profit much more in living according to the law. Wherefore, let me entreat you to read it with favour and attention, and to pardon us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words which we have laboured to interpret. The same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them, and not only these things, but the law itself, and the prophets, and the rest of the books, have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. For in the 8th and 30th year coming into Egypt, when Eugates was king, and continuing there some time, I found a book of no small learning. Therefore I thought it most necessary for me to bestow some diligence and travail to interpret it, using great efforts in that space to bring the book to an end, and set it forth for them also. Therefore I thought it most necessary for me to bestow some diligence and travail to interpret it, using great watchfulness and skill in that space to bring the book to an end, and set it forth them also, which in a strange country are willing to learn, being prepared before in manners to live after the Lord. wisdom cometh from the Lord, and is with him forever. Who can number the sand of the sea, and the drops of the rain, and the days of eternity? Who can find out the heights of heaven, and the breadth of the earth, and the deep, and wisdom? Wisdom hath been created before all things, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting. The word of God Most High is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments. To whom have the root of wisdom been revealed, or who have known her wise counsels? Unto whom have the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who have understood her great experience? To one wise and greatly to be feared, the Lord sitteth alone. Unto whom have the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who have understood her great experience? One wise and greatly to be feared, the Lord sitting upon his throne, who created her, and saw her, and numbered her, and poured her out upon all his works. She is with all flesh according to his gift, and he hath given her to them that love him. The fear of the Lord is honour and glory, and gladness, and a crown of rejoicing. The fear of the Lord maketh a merry heart, and giveth joy and gladness, and a long life. Whoso feareth the Lord, it shall go well with him at the last, and he shall find favour in the day of his death. To fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Created with the womb. She hath built an everlasting foundation with men. She shall continue with her seed. To fear the Lord is fullness of wisdom, and filleth men with her fruits. She filleth all their house with things desirable, and the garners with her increase. The fear of the Lord is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish, both which are the gifts of God. It enlargeth their rejoicing that love him. Wisdom raineth down skill and knowledge of understanding, and exalteth them to honour that hold her fast. The root of wisdom is to fear the Lord, and the branches thereof are long life. The fear of the Lord driveth away sins, and where it is present, it turneth away wrath. A furious man cannot be justified, for the sway of his fury shall be his destruction. The patient man will bear for a time, and afterwards joy shall spring up unto him. He will hide his words for a time, and the lips of many shall declare his wisdom. Parables of knowledge are in the treasures of wisdom, but godliness is an abomination to a sinner. If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments, and the Lord shall give her unto thee. For the Lord is wisdom and instruction, and faith and meekness are his delights. Trust not the fear of the Lord, when thou art poor, and come not unto him with a double heart. Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men. Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall and bring dishonour upon thy soul. So God discover thy secrets, and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation. As thou givest not in truth to the Lord, the heart of the Lord is fixed. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly withdraw, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at the last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. The gold is tried in the fire, and sent to a man, and furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe in him, and your reward shall not fall. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old, and see did ever any trust in the Lord, and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear, and was forsaken? Upon him. For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in time of affliction. Woe be to the fearful hearts and faithful sinner that goeth two ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will you do when the Lord shall visit you? They that fear the Lord will not disobey the word, and they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight, saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord, and not into the hands of men. As his majesty, so is his mercy. Hear me, your father, O children, and do therefore that ye may be safe. For the Lord hath given the father honour over the children, and hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. Whoso honoureth his father maketh an atonement for his sins, and he that honoureth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure. Whoso honoureth his father shall have joy of his own children, and when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard. He that honoureth his father shall have a long life, and he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother. He that feareth the Lord will honour his father, and will do service unto his parents as to his masters. Honour thy father and mother, both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them. The blessing of the father establisheth the houses of the children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations. Glory not in the dishonour of for thy father's dishonour is no glory unto thee. The glory of a man is from the honour of his father, and a mother in dishonour is a reproach to the children. My son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth. And if his understanding fail, have patience with him, and despise him not when thou art in thy full strength. For the relieving of thy father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins it shall be added to build thee. For the relieving of thy father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins it shall be added to build thee up. In the day of time affliction it shall be remembered. Thy sins also shall melt away as the ice in the fair weather. He that forsaketh his father as a blasphemer, and he that angereth his mother is cursed of God. My son, go on with thy business in meekness, so shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favour before the Lord. Many are in high places, he is honoured of the lowly. Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. But what is commanded thee, think reverence. Eyes the things that are in secret. Be not curious in unnecessary matters. More things are shown unto thee than man understand. Many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion overthrow their judgment. Without eyes thou shalt want light. Profess not the knowledge therefore that thou hast not. A stubborn heart shall fare evil at the last, and he that loveth danger shall perish therein. An obstinate heart shall be laden with sorrows, and the wicked man shall heap sin upon sin. In the punishment of the proud there is no remedy. The plant of wickedness hath taken root in him. The heart of the prudent will understand a parable, and an attentive ear is the desire of a wise man. Water will quench a flaming fire, and alms make an atonement for sins. And he that requiteth good turns is mindful of that which may come hereafter. And when he falleth, he shall find a stay. My son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not the needy-eyed to wait long. Make not an hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress. Add not more trouble to a heart that is vexed, and prefer not to give him that is in need. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from the poor man. Turn not thine eye away from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee. For if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayer shall be heard of him that made him. Get thyself the love of the congregation, and bow thy head to a great man. Let it not grieve thee to bow thine ear to the poor, and give him a friendly answer with meekness. Deliver him that suffereth wrong from the hand of the oppressor, and be not faint-hearted when thou sittest in judgment. Be as a father unto the fatherless, and instead of an husband unto their mother, so shalt thou be as the son of the Most High. He shall love thee more than thy mother doth. Wisdom exalteth her children, and layeth hold of them that seek her. He that loveth her loveth life, and they that seek to her early shall be filled with joy. He that holdeth her fast shall inherit glory, and wheresoever she entereth, the Lord will bless. They that serve her shall minister to the Holy One, and them that love her the Lord doth love. Whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge the nations, and he that attendeth unto her shall dwell securely. If a man committeth himself unto her, he shall inherit her, and his generation shall hold her in possession. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline, until she may trust his soul, and try him by her laws. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline, until she may trust his soul, and try him by her laws. Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show her. Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him. Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secrets. But if he go wrong, she will forsake him, and give him over to his own ruin. Observe the opportunity, and beware of evil, and be not ashamed when it concerneth thy soul. For there is a shame that bringeth sin, and there is a shame which is glory and grace. Accept no person against thy soul, and let not the reverence of any man cause thee to fall. And refrain not to speak when there is occasion to do good, and hide not thy wisdom in her beauty. For by speech wisdom shall be known, and learning by the word of the tongue. In no wise speak against the truth, but be abashed of the error of thine ignorance. Be not ashamed to confess thy sins, and force not the course of the river. Make not thyself an underling to a foolish man, neither accept the person of the mighty. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants. Let not thine hand be stretched out to receive, and shut when thou shouldest repay. Set not thine heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the way of thy heart, and say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. Say not, I have sinned, what harm hath happened unto me? For the Lord is long suffering, he will in no wise let thee go. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin, and say not, his mercy is great, he will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in hundreds. Goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to and say not, you shall control me for my works. For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. Say not, I have sinned, what have happened unto me. Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. Winnow not with every wind, and go not into every way. So doth the sinner that hath a double tongue. Be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy words be the same. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere and with patience. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere and just give answer. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbour. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. Honour and shame is in talk, and the tongue of a man is his food. Be not called a whisperer, and lie not in wait with thy tongue, for a foul shame is upon thee. Evil condemnation upon the double tongue. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul shall be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves, and lose thy fruits, and leave thyself as a dry tree. Extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves, and lose thy fruits, and leave thyself as a dry tree. A wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair-speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and he will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends. A faithful friend is a strong defence, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbour be also. Gather instruction up, so shalt thou find wisdom till thine old age. Come unto her as one that ploweth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits. For thou shalt not toil much in labouring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits right soon. She is very unpleasant to the unlearned. He that is without understanding will not remain with her. She will lie upon him as a mighty stone of trial, and he will cast her from him ere it be long. For wisdom is according to her name, and she is not manifest unto many. Give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel, and put thy feet into her fetters, and thy neck into her chain. Bow down thy shoulder, and bear her, and be not grieved with her bonds. Come unto her with thy whole heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. Search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. For at the last thou shalt find her rest, and thou shalt be turned to thy joy. Then shall her fetters be a strong defence for thee, and her chains a robe of glory. There is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are of purple lace. Thou shalt put her on as a robe of honour, and thou shalt put her about thee as a crown of joy. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught, and if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding, and if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of the elders, and cleave unto them that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. If thou seest the man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Let thy mind be upon the ordinance of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart, and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. Shall no harm come unto thee. Depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee. My son, sow not upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap them sevenfold. Seek not of the Lord preeminence, and of the king the seat of honour. Justify not thyself before the Lord, and boast not of thy wisdom before the king. Seek not to be judged, being not able to take away iniquity, lest at any time thou fear the person of the mighty, and lay a stumbling block in the way of thy uprightness. Offend not against the multitude of a city, and then thou shalt not cast thyself down among thy people. Seek not to be judged, being not able to take away iniquity, lest at any time thou fear the person of the mighty, and lay a stumbling block in the way of thy uprightness. Build not one sin upon another, for in one thou shalt not be unpunished. Say not, God will look upon the multitude of my oblations, and when I offer to the Most High God, he will accept it. Be not faint-hearted when thou makest thy prayer, and neglect not to give alms. Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul, for there is one which humbleth and exalteth. Devise not to lie against thy brother, neither do the like to thy friend. Seek not of the Lord's preeminence, neither of the king the seat of honour. Justify not thyself before the Lord, and boast not of thy wisdom before the king. Seek not to be judged, being not able to take away iniquity, lest at any time thou fear the person of the mighty, and lay a stumbling block in the way of thy uprightness. Offend not against the multitude of a city, and then thou shalt not cast thyself down among the people. Build not one sin upon another, for in one sin thou shalt not be unpunished. Say not, God will look upon the multitude of my oblations, and when I offer to the Most High God, he will accept it. Be not faint-hearted when thou makest thy prayer, and neglect not to give alms. Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul, for there is one which humbleth and exalteth. Devise not a lie against thy brother, neither do the like to thy friend. Use not to make any manner of lie, for the custom thereof is no good. Use not many words in the multitude of elders, and make not much babbling when thou prayest. Hate not laborious work, neither husbandry, which the Most High hath ordained. Number not thyself among the multitude of sinners, but remember that wrath will not tarry long. Humble thy soul greatly, for the vengeance of the ungodly is fire and worms. Change not a friend for any good by no means, neither a faithful brother for the gold of Ophir. Forgo not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold, whereas thy servant walketh truly. Treat him not evil, nor the hireling that bestoweth himself wholly for thee. Let thy soul love a good servant, and defraud him not of liberty. Hast thy cattle, have an eye to them, and if they be in thy profit, keep them with thee. As thou children, instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth. As thou daughters, have a care of them, and show not thyself cheerful towards them. Married, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. Honour thy father with thy whole heart, and forget not the sorrows of thy mother. Remember that thou wast begotten of them, and how canst thou recompense them the things that they have done for thee? Fear the Lord with all thy soul, and reverence his priests. Love him that made thee with all thy strength, and love him that made thee with all thy strength, and forsake not his ministers. Fear the Lord and honour the priest, and give him the portion as it is commanded thee, the first fruits, and the trespass offering, and the gift of the shoulders, and the sacrifice of sanctification, and the first fruits of the holy things. And stretch thine hand unto the poor, that thy blessing may be perfected. A gift have grace in the sight of every man living, and for the dead detain it not. Fail not to be with them that and mourn with them that mourn. Be not slow to visit the sick, for that shall make thee to be beloved. Whatsoever thou takest in hand, remember the end, and thou shalt never do amiss. Strive not with a mighty man, lest thou fall into his hand. Be not at variance with a rich man, lest he overweigh thee. Gold hath destroyed many, and perverted the hearts of kings. Strive not with a man that is full of tongue, and heap not wood upon his fire. Yes, not with a rude man, lest thy ancestors be disgraced. Reproach not a man that turneth from sin, but remember that we are all worthy of punishment. Dishonour not a man in his old age, for even some of us wax old. Rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we die all. Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with the proverbs. For of them thou shalt learn instruction, how to serve great men with ease. Miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learned of their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth. Kindle not the coals of a sinner, lest thou be burnt with the flame of his fire. Rise not up in anger at the presence of an injurious person, lest he lie in wait to entrap thee in thy words. Lend not unto him that is mightier than thyself, for if thou lendest him, count it but lust. Be not surely above thy power, for if thou be sure. Be not surety above thy power, for if thou be surety, take care to pay it. Go not to war with a judge, and will judge for him according to his honour. Travel not by the way with a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee. For he will do according to his own will, and thou shalt perish with him through his folly. Strive not with an angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place. For blood is as nothing in his sight, and where there is no help, he will overthrow thee. Consult not with a fool, for he cannot keep counsel. Do no secret thing before a stranger, thou knowest not what he will bring forth. Open not thine heart to every man, lest he requite thee with a shrewd turn. Be not jealous over the wife of thy bosom, and teach her not an evil lesson against thyself. Give not thy soul unto a woman to set her foot upon thy substance. Meet not with an harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. Use not much the company of a woman that is a sinner, lest thou be taken with her attempts. Gaze not on a maid, that thou fall by those things that are precious in her. Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose thine inheritance. Look not around about in the streets of the city, neither wander thou in the solitary places thereof. Turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon another's beauty, for many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. For herewith love is kindled as a fire. Sit not at all with another man's wife, or sit down with her at thine arms, and spend not thine money with her at the wine, lest thine heart incline unto her, and so through the desire thou fall into destruction. Forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him. A new friend is as new wine. When it is old, thou shalt drink it with pleasure. Envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. Delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. Keep thee far from the man that hath power to kill, so shalt thou not doubt the fear of death. And if thou come unto him, make no fault, lest he take away thy life presently. Remember that thou goest in the midst of snares, and that thou walkest upon the battlements of cities. As near as thou canst, try to understand thy neighbour and consult with the wise. Let thy talk be with the wise, and all thy communication in the law of the Most High. And let just men eat and drink with thee, and let thy glory be in the fear of the Lord. For the hand of the artificer the work shall be commended, and the wise ruler of the people for his speech. A man of ill tongue is dangerous in his city, and he that is rash in his talk shall be hated. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of the ruler of the city is, such are all that dwell therein. An unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. In the hand of God is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Pride is hateful before God and man, by doth one commit iniquity. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such an one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. For when a man is dead, he shall inherit creeping things, beasts and worms. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them the strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. The Lord hath cast down the thrones of proud princes, and set up the meek in their steads. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations, and planted the lowly in their place. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen, and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away and destroyed them, and have made their memorial to cease from the earth. Pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of women. They that fear the Lord are a sure seed, and they that love him an honourable plant. They that regard not the law are a dishonourable seed. They that transgress the commandments are a deceivable seed. Among brethren, he that is chief is honourable. So are they that fear the Lord in his eyes. The fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. Whether he be rich, noble, or poor, their glory is the fear of the Lord. It is not meet to despise the poor man that hath understanding, neither is it convenient to magnify a sinful man. Great men and judges and potentates shall be honoured, yet is there none of them greater than he that feareth the Lord. Unto the servants that is wise shall they that are free do service, and he that hath knowledge will not grudge when he is reformed. Be not overwise in doing thy business, and boast not thyself in the time of distress. Better is he that laboureth and aboundeth in all things, than he that boasteth himself and wanteth bread. My son, glorify thy soul in meekness, and give it honour according to the dignity thereof. Who will justify him that sinneth against his own soul? And who will honour him that dishonoureth his own life? The poor man is honoured for his skill, the rich man is honoured for his riches. He that is honoured in poverty, how much more in riches? And he that is dishonourable in riches, how much more in poverty?